Now, this might be a bit of a controversial take, but I believe that Longlegs is the true victim of this movie. If I had to watch another minute of this bumbling detective feel sorry for herself, I would probably bash my face in too. Welcome back, horror fans. I'm Leo, and Bootube Breakdowns is here to save your scary movie night. Right off the bat, Longlegs scores a 1.8 out of 10, landing it solidly in our Trash O Lantern category. But here's the thing. I've already had to make a deal with the devil just to get you this score, and in a few minutes I'll show you exactly why this film earned its rating. If you disagree with my score at the end of the video, be sure to let me know how much you want to repeatedly smash your face into a table, and then be sure to like, share, and subscribe about it in the comment section. Our story involves the adventures of psychic detective Harker, who uses her magical bullshit powers, intuition, to track the movements and uncover the mystery of notorious serial killer, Longlegs. She's an awkward super genius apparently, who can decipher algorithms with her mind and has a mentally ill mother for reasons that are unknown. As the story progresses, she gets closer and closer to catching this killer, but along the way, she discovers secrets much darker than she could have ever imagined. The story progresses to a twist involving the occult, family secrets, murder, and singing, apparently. The story for this one is as bloated and pretentious as the people who claim to enjoy it. It plays off as a standard cat and mouse serial killer hunt type of thriller where our main protagonist gets closer and closer to finding this killer and loses some of herself along the way. The main problem with this approach, however, is that Longlegs is kind of boring. He just kind of meanders around like a Nicolas Cage with too many prosthetics playing a parody of, well, Nicolas Cage. As such, since we are told that Longlegs is supposed to be scary rather than showing us how scary he is, we're left watching what is basically an idiot walk around being weird for the whole movie. Then you contrast this with how hard Harker is working to catch this guy, and she comes off as both a genius and a moron all at the same time. So we're basically left with an idiot savant following around a discount Charles Manson style killer that is also a Satanist. The first act was more of an action movie, the second act was a bit of a drama, and then in the third act is where the horror elements finally decided to show up. But honestly, it's structurally similar to Caveat, link in the description, but somehow slower, dumber, and much more boring. I'll save it for the ending, but in the grand scheme of things, this story is a hair below average for a horror movie in its story, and that's why I'm going to give the story quality a 4 out of 10. And we're right back at it again, boys. Slow burn and slow are not the same thing. Slow burn means a steady build-up. This movie is fast-paced in the beginning, then slows down to a screeching halt, tries to use satanic and religious imagery to play off as having a deeper meaning than it actually does, and then it gets a rushed ending once it realizes that trauma isn't horror. Seriously, trauma is boring, not scary. And at this point, it's just as annoying as found footage films after the paranormal activity hype train of the 2010s. The most important detail is how this film pretends to be insightful as a way to hide that it has no real substance. The flow is as follows. Our detective catches the killer and there's a hidden twist at the end. Ooh, masterpiece, I guess. It's even better if you have blaring music that drowns out the dialogue so no one can hear what they're saying, and add long drawn-out shots of scenery. Oh, and be sure to add some psychedelic style imagery so people can think it's deep or something. Oh, you know what would be even better? Let's add a scene or two of forced perspective shots of our character waking up because of depression and trauma or something. Are you paying attention yet? The pacing gets a 2 out of 10. Okay, let me explain myself first, and then draw your own conclusion. Here's where I'm coming from. If you go on a hike and before the hike you're told there's bears in the area, that's concerning. If you see some bear tracks, that's ominous. You hear a bear, that's unsettling. You see a bear, that's threatening. And if the bear rushes you, that's scary. Now, with this movie, I was told I would get, well, scared. Instead, I got action in the beginning, boring exposition for an hour while being told Satanism is a factor. Then, towards the end, we get some Satan goat shaped shadows, music blaring at random times throughout the movie, and a murder bloodbath in the last 3 minutes. I'd call that as overselling concerning, as if it were ominous, making it annoying, and then having a fourth grader pop out of the corner saying, haha, scared ya. Oh, and add 3 sound Blair Chief scares. Final fear score for me is a -2 out of 10. Now, I'm gonna sound like a hater, but there's almost nothing about this movie that I actually enjoyed. The action scenes in the beginning were a great way to trick me into watching this movie, and then the whole thing slowed down, and the thing that got me to watch the movie didn't follow through to the end. Nicolas Cage is always awesome to watch, but having him monologue for a little bit near the end does not make up for how he was basically missing for the whole movie. He was more of a background abstraction that only existed in theory. The whole concept of Harker being a psychic detective was interesting until the 6-minute mark. They forgot about that and then tried to tie up that loose end towards the end with one of the dumbest plot twists in, I believe, horror movie history. Longlegs was basically reduced to just being a weirdo. The psychic detective is no different than every art hoe you knew back in college that has so much trauma in her life, but really she's just lacking a personality. The whole Agent Carter dynamic of him acting like a concerned mentor was a strong start that, hey, a distraction. Wow, that was a nice boring little hour that passed. Oh, shit. Carter. Damn, we gotta do something about him, right? Fuck it, he got a possessed doll now. Also, the devil himself in the story was reduced to a background shadow. All in all, I was bored the whole time, and whenever the movie tried anything interesting, I was already so disengaged from the experience that all I could muster was a eh. Fun factor gets a 3 out of 10. Now, it is a very well-known fact that the absolute best way to end a movie is with an exposition dump. The story is that the devil worked with the Satanist, Longlegs. The devil wanted little girls and targeted a young Harker. Harker's mom made a deal with the devil to spare Harker in exchange for, I guess, helping the devil. Longlegs would make dolls possessed by the devil. The mom would drop them off at houses as gifts, and then the devil would possess the families and cause them to kill each other. Harker then goes to her boss's house where her mom already dropped off a doll, and now Harker interrupts the devil by shooting her boss and her mom. Cue Nicolas Cage laughing to himself, and cut to black. Normally this would have been an interesting ending, but because Osgood Perkins is such an autofillating dick, he gave us an exposition dump rather than a good story because he's so smart and we the audience are so dumb that it needs to be explained to us. He's so smart, he doesn't need a well-written ending. If we were all smart enough, we would have just been able to get it. Fuck him and his stupid mustache. Ending gets a 2 out of 10. So that's Bootube Breakdowns' take on Longlegs. Averaging our scores gives this movie a 1.8 out of 10, which places it in our Trash-O-Lantern category. Do you agree with my rating? Scream your score in the comments and tell me what horror flick I should gut next. If this helps save your spooky vibes, smash that like, share with your horror crew, hit that notification bell, and subscribe to Bootube Breakdowns for more killer verdicts. Keep it creepy, and I'll haunt you in the next review.